Okay, ready to go.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and call to order the April 12th Arkansas Arts Academy Finance Committee meeting. Howard Alsdorf.
Jeff Honeycutt.
Richard Burrows.
Debbie Zupan.
Victor Craig.
Bonnie Colville.
All right, good deal. Did we have anything from, do we need to
Nate.
Here comes Nate.
Did we need to
Time for
approve
roll
them?
call.
Did we need to, sorry, Nate, go ahead.
I just said Nate's just in time for roll call. He's not tardy.
Can he speak?
Where is he?
You there, Nate?
He's not muted.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey guys, this is Nate. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nate.
You made
Did
the
we
roll
have-
call.
Did we have minutes from the last meeting to approve?
There were minutes, but there wasn't much to, yes, there were minutes. It talked about the Cox proposal and the February financials, and we discussed ESSER 2 funding.
Okay, well, do me a favor. I'm not going to go ahead and ask for everybody to approve those in this meeting until they have a copy of them.
They were part of the packet, right behind the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me pull it up. Where'd that go? All right, has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any additions, comments, or corrections?
Nope, not for me.
All right,
Not for me either.
I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
So made.
Second.
All right, first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right. March financials review and questions. Bonnie, it's yours.
Well, I think things are looking really, really good. And Rich keeps getting all these notifications about more and more ESSER funds coming in. So it's really helping school districts. I know that. So I think everything seems to be on track really, really well.
So Bonnie, how much do we have left to spend in ESSER 1? Is it just like barely?
I think we've obligated some. I don't know if all the recent purchase orders, requisitions have been entered yet or not, but just as.
Yeah, I think we're below 5,000, so we're
I
almost
think so too. I
ready to
think
close
so,
that
too.
out. And I thought I would report to the Finance Committee that at least as of, it's always as of today,
Right.
that the ESSER funding for this coming school year increases to $370,105.28. So that's a significant increase from our first year. And even though we call it ESSER 3, that's not its real name. It's Relief Act for something, something. And the projected amount for, yet again, the following school year, which overlaps with each other,
Right.
is a really fairly impressive $832,118.90. So, great news for, it's sort of like the easiest fundraising we've ever done.
Right.
It is
Didn't have to wash a car or anything.
no, nothing. And then if any of you, this is really sort of more a broader picture of how the March financials play here. But the governor signed today a bill that would send $185 per student to eligible schools in the state of Arkansas for the improvement of salary equity. And there are a variety of ways that school districts can apply that. But it means that we'll be eligible at the high end for $222,000 to improve the salary scale of our teachers who are, as we know, always underpaid given our current circumstances. I had a conversation with APSRC today, and so we're going to work together to create a formula and a slope for how we can assist those teachers who are new in the district, how we can move the median salary schedule for the bulk of our teachers, and then how do we continue to support those who've been here the longest and probably make closest to the average state salary. And they're excited to do that, and I'm thrilled that we have that opportunity. They also shared that there are 31 school districts in the state of Arkansas whose salaries are so high that they are ineligible to receive these funds. And so you can probably go through your own list of who are those school districts, and Ken Rich confirmed that they would get zero in funding support for this particular effort. So that just makes the March financials appear even stronger in context. So thanks.
Is that 185 a one-time?
It is listed as a one-time event with reevaluations annually, but as APSRC shared, frequently these things get baked in from year to year, and it's very difficult to withdraw these kinds of funds from public education after they've been committed. So I think we're in good stead.
Hey, Richard, thank you. This is Nate. I know that's been a big topic for years that I've been involved in the school. So a question I have for that can only be used for teacher salaries, correct? Like we couldn't, I don't want to, but we wouldn't put that in a different bucket. Like that's going to go to teachers, right? Like that's the design of that.
It's just for teachers. But that does not mean that I'm not still committed in the next few months here in going through a salary scale adjustment for everyone here. We've done some analysis of how we fare against other school districts in Northwest Arkansas. And in some cases for classified, we're right on the money. But I also think that if you're going to run a very small school district like ours, you need to reward people who are doing multiple jobs and responsibilities rather than doing just one kind of job. So we'll take a look at that, and we want to retain the best people possible.
Agreed.
So,
thank you for looking into that and putting a focus on that.
Yeah.
So just as a reminder, and Nate, this has been a career problem for me, is how do we continue to figure out ways to increase teacher salaries and compensate those that need to be compensated?
Right.
But we run into a problem in that as we give increases, we have to make sure we have additional sources of income coming in, because if we don't have a way to cover those increases over time.
Yeah, we don't want to get trapped there. And so one of the opportunities that we have before us is, for example, if we decide to expand our enrollment cap by 500 in order to accommodate maybe grades 6, 7, and 8 in a middle school separate environment, it'll free up other opportunities for students to register in the school district. And that means that we have that many more per capita additions to our salary, which would help on a variety of levels. But of course, that's going to require thinking through how do you open a middle school or how do you expand.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you, of the existing facilities, how much more can we add to the existing facilities before it becomes a problem?
Not very much. I think they accurately described the original cap at 1,200 something. So if we want to really move and take a big bump up in advancement, we're going to have to sort of charge to the 500 student level. And we still have a couple of years to think through that process. So it's just one of the tools in our belt that we can use to effectively solidify additional revenues.
Okay, and then do we need to go through another charter renewal to get that increase, or can we just petition for it?
My understanding is we can petition for a cap change if we can demonstrate that we've got the resources to do it.
Yeah.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the charter.
No. And I can't believe that I've been here 7 months and I can say that with confidence.
All right, good deal. Anything else from a financial standpoint?
For the March financials, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, because we have some things to share about the audit.
Yeah, I wanted to get through the financials first.
Yeah.
Do we have a projected end of year balance?
512.
$508,115.09.
501,000?
Is that right, Bonnie?
Hang on.
I'm looking at the 2021 projection. It says ending balance is 508,115.09.
I have 512,000.
Oh,
Close.
close.
512,990.28.
So half mil.
Half million.
210, 220, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Bonnie, if it is in fact $500,000 in positive balance, is there a percentage that we get to keep? Can we keep all of that?
That everything, yes.
It all stays.
It's that'll be a carryover balance
Okay.
into next school year, yes.
Okay. So even better news.
That's great news.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm curious, just what was the ending balance last year? Just so we can kind of compare. Are we talking
I
like we
want to
didn't
say
have
it
a
was like
balance last year?
385, wasn't it, or something like
And I
that?
was going to say it was 400, somewhere around
Yeah,
400,000.
Okay, so yeah, hey.
That's
Okay.
good. And again, I'm going to say that a lot of technology expenditures and some other things we have been able to use the ESSER funds for,
Mhm.
which has probably helped
awesome.
to increase this in
Yeah.
operating. So
And I would say that those expenditures, which Victor will talk about in a little bit here, are really about long-term investments in the quality of instruction in our classrooms. Some of the stuff that's out there is pretty Flintstone. And so we're going to move into the middle of the 21st century here pretty soon.
So Richard, in the next couple of meetings prior to going into next year, and I know we've talked about this before, we probably need to start thinking about capital expenditures for next year. If there are going to be any, and get those slotted before anything else comes through.
Yeah, are you talking about renovations and improvements?
Yeah, air conditioning, whatever else we need to get done in those buildings.
So I'm thinking that if we move into that $800,000 in a year and a half, we're going to be able to do something that's major. I asked Victor, rather than us trying to do a projection on what we think we need, is to create a consulting contract with a non-vendor to come in and tell us what we should do and over what period of time, so that we're spending money wisely.
Like a 3-year contingent or a 3-year plan?
Yeah.
Or a couple-year plan, is that what you're thinking? Okay.
Yeah.
CapEx plan. Okay, perfect.
All right. Any other question about financials?
I just want to make a comment to Richard and team. I know, so I don't know half of the fundraising that you guys are doing, but I know if you're what you're providing is a lot of work, and just from my perspective, thank you guys. My mom does grant writing in Illinois for adults with developmental disabilities, and she tells me that's the hardest part of our job is getting money. So thank you guys for the efforts, and I know it's not over, but I really appreciate the focus, and this is what we needed.
And I want to share that I haven't done a lot of grant writing in these first 6 or 7 months for the specific reason that I didn't want to sort of one-off people providing funding support for programs. If we're going to go through a year-long analysis that says after 20 years, what do we need to be doing? What do we need to be changing? What is strong and solid? And so rather than sort of piecemeal that together, by the end of next year, we should have a program plan that says, this was part of the board's direction to me in terms of my work, is what is it that we need to do, and then go to seek the funding, because it but would actually be supported by the research that's necessary to create advancement for the organization. And I think a plan is always preferable to people who give you money.
Yep.
Yeah. To Nate's point, though, thank you all for everything you're doing to keep us above the red line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, $100,000, above last year's. As for a school as small as ours, I think, in the Walmart world where I'm from, in the corporate world, $100,000 is like a rounding error, but
Yeah.
in this situation, that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of lives and kids that can be affected in their education. So thank you guys for the extra effort there.
All right, anything else on financials? All right, next item on the agenda is the 2019-2020 audit.
So just an opening comment from our side of the ledger here, and I think Bonnie will agree, we were somewhat surprised that Landmark took an extra 3 months to complete the audit. And so receiving it on the sort of the last winking moments of March before it was due to the Arkansas Department of Education on March 31st was not harrowing, but one wonders what took so long. But we did, I think, have a pretty solid financial review. In their own writing, it says that there's nothing that appears to have been misrepresented as a part of the audit of 2019, 2020. And so all good in some respects. And I think that the numbers speak for themselves. The variances are pretty low. I'll ask Bonnie to speak to that. But there were, and they're, by the way, they're making a presentation. Landmark is making an audit presentation at the board meeting. I'm not sure if it's verbal or, I think it's a PowerPoint. Is that right?
I believe it is.
Yeah, they're doing a PowerPoint at the board presentation of the audit. And
I need to get them the link.
yeah, and as just as a matter of follow-up, when you take a look at the auditor's comments about that particular year, the prior school year, they had 3 things that they cautioned or made recommendations about. One was, I think, a sort of a follow-up on the fact that APSRC and Bonnie's valuable work has been contracted to support the financial stability of the organization. And I really can't tell you how much I rely on Bonnie, but also just on the support of APSRC. I just feel that we're in very good hands. Show your hands, Bonnie. There they are.
I'm not a hand model.
So those are the hands that keep the eyes on certain things that we might miss. So that was the first thing, and they commended us for that. Second is that they wanted to make sure that in that last school year that we sort of chased down the outstanding checks that hadn't been cashed, or if they'd been double paid and somehow the other one had been left alone. And Bonnie, you're on that. Is that correct? You're working.
We've already identified $39,000 worth of outstanding checks that had actually cleared. Some of them were made out to utilities or to, and you paid your utility bills. There's no doubt about it. Things like that, maybe credit card payments and stuff that they said they never received, but we would have, they would have been paid later had we not paid them.
Right. And so credit card is a kind of an unusual one because we may have had an invoice and a PO to pay by check, and then it was paid by credit card, and then never the twain got met. So I don't think it's like a gigantic amount of money, but we certainly don't want to be doing that in the future.
Right.
So, and the last is that the CEO in the previous school year needed to review and provide signatures on bank accounts, invoices, payroll, and journal entries, which didn't happen. But even before I got that notice from Landmark as part of the audit, Bonnie will, I hope, corroborate this, as that is already happening. I started that
Right.
the month that I began here.
Right.
So we can, and so that's really been handled. That correction action has been taken care of. And when the state replied after we submitted the audit, he said, Arkansas Department of Education's auditor said, well, there are 2 things you need to take care of, the checks and signing the things. And I said, well, I'm happy to report that those corrective actions have already been taken.
Right.
So we're in good order for that. So that's just my general comments. Is there anything you want to say about the audit per se, Bonnie?
No, it was the quickest one as far as the length of time that they were in-house that I was ever used to. So they must have done a lot of work back at their own office, and they gathered a lot of information that reports and things like that they had asked for ahead of time. I think we talked about that. So it
Well,
Not,
and even while they were here, they would ask things about grant reports that I didn't have background on, and we were able to confirm that all the grant reports had been completed in a timely fashion. So it was a nice task for us.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So any questions, board members?
So there's nothing that came up that we're gonna have to go down before the state audit committee to talk to.
No, and my car doesn't drive that far. So no, there's nothing there. We're clean.
And I thought that was a new car you had.
It is.
All right, good deal.
Richard's saying, it's a lease. It's a lease. Leave me alone.
He said it's a lease, leave me alone.
I love your car, Richard. I won't pick on you. I love that car.
Actually, I did pay for it. It's cash.
Well, there you go. Even better.
All right, termination compensation.
Oh, do you want to do Victor's first interactive projectors, K6?
Sure.
Yeah, so because Victor's prepared a little comment about that and what we're doing.
Okay, guys. Our plan is to buy 18 interactive laser light based projectors for the elementary school using ESSER II funds. They're going to replace some older ceiling mounted projectors in the rooms for grades 1 through 3 and grades 5, and then one room in grades 4 and 6. They're very similar to the projectors we bought for the high school when we did the remodel, but they are being based on laser. There's no lamps to replace, which is really nice. And they're like 65% brighter and 25% more, or 25 times more contrast. So this will cost us about $49,176.45 to purchase and install. We're using the All AV Services company in Lowell, Arkansas. It's the same vendor who provided the projectors for the high school remodel. The price per projector is $19.95. It's very favorable to online pricing of $2,300 to $2,800. So it's a local company, established vendor. They've been very supportive for us since we've done the high school remodel. So I want to recommend to the board that you approve the purchase.
And that is, I think, the crux of the situation here is that because it's over $20,000, we need the board's approval to move forward on this particular expense.
Right.
So, Vic, any resale value on the ones being taken out?
You know, more than likely there is. I have not followed up to actually check that. Some of the ones that we are replacing are interactive also, not quite as old as the ceiling models. So whatever we can salvage, we will. I'm not going to just toss them if I can avoid doing that. But you know, some of them, those ceiling mounting ones, are pretty darn old. So it may be a lost cause. You know, we'll have to see.
Okay.
But I will look into that.
Victor,
Yes.
are they a Arkansas State preferred vendor, or do we have to put it out for formal bid?
All AV Services that's a very good question. I would assume they are, only from the fact that we use them for Arkansas, for the high school.
But they may have put that out for bid. Well, we can check that tomorrow, whether they're on the list that doesn't require us to put it out for bid.
Okay. Yeah, we can double check that.
If it's over 20,000, we're required to bid if they're not on that list.
All right.
Do we go through the co-op to figure out if they are on the list?
We can probably look it up digitally through the state database.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it needs to be tips or something, isn't that?
Yeah.
Tips, taps.
Taps. Yeah.
So we'll have that information before the board considers the.
Yeah.
purchase. Okay. And I should say that in addition to moving that equipment as not as a disposal but as a resale, there may well be a number of items that we bring forward to the board either in May or in June for requesting approval to dispose of other things. So we're just trying to clean house here.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah.
let's connect. Can we connect offline on that? I think I have an avenue that at least bring it up to you and see if that's something that that we could do, like an auction.
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, so we could
Yeah,
talk.
if we go that route, yeah, I've got some connections we could work through, like an auction house to clear some of that stuff out that get pretty good recovery.
Okay,
Maybe required to auction.
well, it may be required, as Debbie says, to auction it. So, do you want to have that conversation before the board meeting or afterwards?
Whenever you're free.
Afterwards will be fine.
That's fine. That'll work.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Termination compensation.
Yeah, this was just an update. I believe I sent this to board members about the employee that we terminated at the end of February. In actuality, in conversation with APSRC, the termination was effective on the 27th of February, but the board vote was not until February 9th. And so as a matter of good faith to the final decision, we estimated payment to the individual up to and through February 9th, which came to $1,300. And it just kept us tidy for when the final decision was made by the board authorizing the official termination.
Richard, sorry, you said he was terminated on February 27th?
January.
I'm sorry, January.
Okay, sorry. That's why I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, backwards math, back to the future. So the advice from APSRC lawyers was that was a clean way of exiting that particular conversation.
Okay. That'll come up for a vote tomorrow night.
It's a,
I don't think we need a vote.
no, actually, we've already taken
Raise
it.
your hand.
Yeah. Oh, what's Bonnie?
All audio-visual services on Wagon Wheel Road in Springdale is on the tips taps list.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Mhm. You're welcome.
So that's just tidying up an accounting detail for the departure of that person. So I don't think we need to bring it before the board. Tony asked me to only make sure that we had informed the board of the events that followed up. So I think we're good.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about this evening? All right. If there's no other items to talk to, Bonnie, thank you very much.
Oh,
Richard,
thank you.
Debbie, thank you. Vic, we appreciate everything y'all are doing.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Thank you.
y'all. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
I'll entertain a
Thanks,
motion to adjourn.
So
So moved.
All right, out of
Take
here.
care.
See y'all later.
See you
All
later.
right. Take care. Bye bye.